Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Zoom In on a Fresh Conversation. It is Monday night all over again, and it is 4 days before Thanksgiving. I can't wait to eat. I know you guys can't wait to eat either. But tonight, I have a special guest. His name is Mr. William C. Filmore. He is an alumni of the Fresh Book Festival and author of Filmore's Double Dose of Dark Urban Mythos. That is Mr. William C. Filmore. Thank you for being here this afternoon. Well, this evening.
Hello, how you doing?
Zoom in on a
Good,
fresh conversation
great
is
to be
brought
here.
to you. Yeah, great to be here. Great to see you again. Yeah.
Yes.
Zoom in on a fresh conversation is brought to you by Eyeless Diamonds LLC, Lee's Press, Milton McCulloch, author of Love and Emancipation, a Dante production, and the Fresh Book Festival, which will be held in the beautiful city of Daytona Beach 22, 23, 24 February in the year of 2024. We're so excited. There's so many things going on. This train is rolling, and we're going to be ready to give you everything. We're going to put it all on the table for the Fresh Book Festival. If you have any questions for William, leave them in the chat room. And this conversation is being recorded. Okay, William, you're in the hot seat. How you doing? Good to see you again. Welcome
I'm
to Zoom
doing
In on a
good.
Fresh Conversation.
I'm doing
So,
excellent.
so we just need you to give us a little background about who you are.
Well, I'm a writer who's been trying his trade for the last couple of years. Just a working class guy that has the bug to create. I've always been a creator since high school, since junior high. Played in the band. Me and a friend, we had an underground comic book. Me and another friend, we would write stories and send them into different short story publishers who would take them in. And we always got rejected, but we got little notes that were like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. So it wasn't totally for naught.
Everybody's gotten rejection letters. That is just,
Oh,
I mean, that's just something that happens, William.
you're
Listen,
right.
don't
Never
even,
mind. We got to draw a
yeah.
full someone. Yes,
Everybody's gotten them. I think I got a notebook full. So you can't let other people deter you from what you are trying to do.
okay.
So tell us about the journey to double dose. When did it start?
Okay, I wrote a short story a couple of years ago while I was living in D-Land,
Okay,
and
still on.
uh, people read it. Certain people read it, and they just were like, "Man, this is really good. You should maybe try and get something done." So I was already starting to write, but I said, you know what? People don't really read full novels unless you got a name, unless you're a little bit more well known. So I went ahead and started writing short stories. So each one of these books, each one of my double dose of dark urban mythos is two short stories in one book. And matter of fact, I sent you a copy, and I hope you like both stories because I juiced them up just for you, Doc.
You juiced them up a lot. But I think you're an excellent writer. But I want you to tell the story. I think that you got me hooked with the money tree and
Okay.
the gun story, and you'll talk about that later. But um, you weave a very provocative
Okay.
tale,
Thank you.
and it is my pleasure to read what you write. So so
Thank you.
you so you grew up in an orphanage, right?
Well, I didn't grow up in an orphanage.
Okay, so tell us about that experience and
I,
did you develop anything while you were there or was it
probably
afterwards?
it was afterwards. I would have to say. I would say once I got down here, I was about almost 3 years old, and luckily the people I was the family I was adopted into, were a bunch of teachers.
Okay.
So yeah, so learning and reading, and plus they were church going, so you had to read the Bible. By the time you were 5 years old, if you couldn't read passages from the Bible, something was wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. So that gave you real good instincts for reading. And I mean the Bible's like one of the best tools if you want to, you know, with everybody in church. And you open your Bibles to this. Well, when you're little and everybody opens up the Bible, you better be able to read what's on there. So it's
Oh,
just it's fundamental thing just went into hyperdrive because after that I just started reading everything, especially at school. Once I got into school and they had those bookmobiles. I
oh,
don't know
I
if
remember
yeah,
bookmobiles. Yeah.
bookmobiles. And they would come around to your school and they would, you know, you could get the trade books and you get to buy them and you know, and so I was oh man, I read when they would come, I'd get two or three at a time and I would devour them very, very quickly. Then I had a brother, he was a teacher, but his wife was a teacher too, and she would come down. Every time she would come down, she would come down with a stack of books. And one time she came down, she said, "You know, they all call me Clarence. That's what the C stands
That's
for."
just,
I shouldn't put that out there, but I'm gonna
that's your
say it.
whole government name.
She would say, "Clarence, you know, if these people can write these stories, so can you." I was like, I don't know about that. These people are professionals. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised who's a professional and who's not, and who's writing and who's getting paid. So that kind of put a bug in my ear.
Yeah.
And I had like I said, I had a friend, and him and I would write stories and do comic books and all that story, all that story,
All of it is story. Right.
all that story.
Yeah.
That's a good story. Putting stories together. That's been my biggest thing. Putting stories together. That's why I try to weave.
You weave a mean tale. That gun
I
story.
try
I'm
to make
telling
it
you
so that
that.
there's kind of surprise at the end. I want you to get a nice
Yeah.
little surprise at the end. And I
Yeah.
hope I fixed it up for you, Donna. I put those scenes in there just for you.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, there's nothing like a book that has a little spice in it.
That
You know
that
what I'm saying? That's just what I do and what I like, right? So thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. And so I wonder why you didn't go spiritual.
sit down, Penance.
I don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't
if
know,
you
being
grew up in that kind of household, how is
yeah,
it that you missed the spiritual part and went straight to
yeah.
murder, mystery, and chaos?
Well, and I mean, if you read a lot of the Bible, and I used to
It's
have this,
murder, mystery, and chaos, right?
and it is all that. It is
Right,
all that.
right.
Intrigue, it's backstabbing, it's love, it's hate, it's jealousy. There's everything. All that is in the Bible. So I mean, after you've read it, I'm sorry, but after you've read it a couple times, it's time to move on. You know, as a young person, it was time to move on to something else. So I kind of diverted because I mean, the mysticism,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, the magic, all that's in the Bible. So it's really foreign for me to go ahead and do this kind of storytelling.
So let's back up. You decide to write a book. Tell us about your publishing process and how was it arduous? Was it just tell us how you made that happen because you did all this pretty much by yourself, right? Okay.
First, the first book I had, Angel, publisher in Jacksonville. I got a deal with her, and it didn't turn out quite the way I wanted it to. So I got online and I sent some of my writings and some of my book covers to some of these people that were having like I'd never seen it before. It was like self-publishing. Now at that time it was foreign to me, self-publishing.
That's
Because
foreign
I
to
thought
all
you
of
had to
us.
go
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had to go I had thought you had to go the traditional route. You know, and that's what I was doing. I was trying to get my stuff together to go traditional route, send the book, you know, send the story out. And hopefully they're gonna like it.
Send
If
the
they
query
do,
letter, la la
great.
la. Yeah.
Right. But of course you're getting rejection letters. You know, yeah, you had to put all that together. So once I got online, I began to see, especially with Amazon, I saw the success that writers were having with Amazon KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing, where these devices, people were buying these Kindles And well, they were downloading stories like crazy.
Crazy.
Especially, I'd say it was like 2011 or 12. It was like a gold rush. You could write anything and make tons of money back then. And of course, I was late for that. I missed the gold rush. But because so many people that have gone through the process, the information for you to write your book, to publish your book, to market your book, and to sell your book is all out there. And I just gathered up as much information as I could. I got back the publishing rights to my first book, and I decided, you know what? I'm gonna.
What was that like? Did you have to? Was that a court process, a lawyer?
No, we had a
It's
contract.
just like back and
The
forth.
contract
Okay.
ended on a certain date,
Okay.
and rather than renew the contract, I let it lapse, and that was the end of that.
Okay.
Yeah. But having doing everything yourself, even though it's a time consuming, I'm a control freak, so I get to control everything. I pay to get it in. I pay for my covers. I design them, but I pay for somebody to professionally do them. And I have a professional formatter. All these things can be done yourself if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Put everything into a nice little neat package. And this last Halloween, I had a 5-day free download. So what I did was for 5 days for this particular
Edition.
edition volume, I had it was free for 5 days. Now I had to put together a marketing plan, a strategy, so that every day some news got out to people online that this book was free. My first day, I'm just following what people do online.
Right.
But my first day, I had 150 downloads. By the fourth day, I had 2,000. Well, it was 1,660 downloads. It came out to be altogether for those 5 days. It came out to be 2,000 downloads. So that's a pretty big number because the people I was following, they were only downloading 200 or 300, and I got lucky. And of course, it's a horror book coming out during Halloween, so that might have helped boost my sales. But then that's what you have to do if you're going to do this for yourself. You got to decide where your market is, where you can put things at, and where you can make your most noise, because that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm just trying to make enough noise so people can notice and see what's happening. And then hopefully if they downloaded this free book, hopefully you're going to go back and buy one of the other two. That's the plan.
Okay, so the download is free, but somebody's paying for it. Who's paying for the back end?
No, I did all that. Okay. Think about it. It's all ebook. It's only free for ebooks.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have a Kindle, KDP, or you've got, I think it's a Kobo. I think Kobo does it. And those are e-readers, right? And so you can download those. The day after the 5-day free, even though I downloaded, I had 11 sales.
Okay.
Actual of the other books. So it works. It works. And I've been selling one or two books since then, ever since then.
Yeah, right. So, sometimes it's not the rabbit that gets, the prize.
Right.
It's that slow and steady, train that really, because a lot of us have been writing I've been writing since 2008, and Janice and everyone else. So it's amazing how you'll find, like, book 1 was written in 2008, and I have people just starting to read it. Right. So it kind of just catches up with itself. So your illustrator,
did you? That's the books. I'm sorry. Books. Oh, I said that's the magic of books.
That's right.
A book can be 10 years old and still be just as thrilling and good as it was the day it was made. So it's a commodity that once you've written it and once you've got it down,
Right.
it's not going to go anywhere.
I had a rainy weekend and I thought, well, I'll read a book. So I
Okay.
read the autobiography of Malcolm X again,
Oh, yes, that's a good one.
right? And then I thought to myself, I hope that the books that I write, people will read again.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
whatever, and that's what I pray for everybody that
Yeah.
says, okay, well, let me read that again because it was so good that you want to just
Alex
taste it
Haley.
one more time,
Alex
right?
Haley. Alex
So
Haley.
Alex Haley, Roots, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, so tell us about your illustrator. Did you find the illustrator online? Was it a personal friend? How did that?
I went online. There is a app called, and I'm pretty sure you've all heard of this app. It's called Fiverr.
Yes.
Okay. Fiverr, you go on Fiverr and you can pick out somebody to do the formatting for you, somebody to do the cover design. Now, I had somebody do a cover design. It didn't quite
Make the
look
mark.
the way I wanted it, but it had some of the stuff that I wanted. So I went to a place called Get Covers, one word, getcovers.com. And oh my goodness, they do some of the best um, fictional covers I've ever seen.
Really?
And so I took my design, I went to the logo done, and I took that design and I told the guys that Get Covers what I wanted for all three of my books, and they were able to put it together. It's a little back and forth because you're not face to face with these guys. You're kind of like, you're trying to relay what you want
Right.
in words.
That idea has to come. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And so it took a couple of tries to get what what you see now. But I started with, I don't know if you can see that. I started with the logo first. And I went from the logo, which I bought bought the logo, and I said, okay, now I'm gonna basically make a book around the logo.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I wanted to use I'm sorry. I wanted to use, different cover motifs.
Right.
So this one is like broken glass and whatnot. And this one is fire. And then my other one, I think it's blood or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so they were able to do it. And it was, I'll tell you what, I worked with a boutique publisher, and it cost me more to do one book for her than it took me to do all three of these books. Yes. Yes. So I'm not saying it was a bad thing because I learned a lot, but I can pretty much do my own thing now.
So you edit your own books too?
No, I actually pay for it to come in and
That's
edit
important. Yeah.
it.
Most
Yeah,
people can't edit their own books. But I mean, some people can, but most people can't. Yeah.
you're so close to your work sometimes that you
miss it.
yeah, you'll miss certain little things. I mean, it's just a little, and it'll just bug you. Because when the book's done, that for you, it'll stand out like a sore thumb. Yeah. So I said, you know what? I better go ahead and pay. I also have uh, an editing app, which I think everybody should get. It's called Pro Writing Aid, and I don't know if anybody uses it, but it is excellent. It catches all your mistakes, all your lettering, and it also has rephrasing, where it will take a sentence, and if you put together a sentence, you say, man, this sentence is not working. Well, that program, if you highlight it and click it, it will rephrase that program and give you three different sentences,
Okay.
right, that you can pick from that you might want to modify your sentence to.
Okay. Program writing aid. All right.
Pro Writing
I
Aid.
never heard of it, but good. Good knowledge.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got a slew of sites that I go to. BookBrush. They do all my advertising, all my stuff that you see online. where you see all the
Okay, I love you, but listen, you work a full-time job.
yes,
You have grown children. You have
yeah,
grandchildren.
yeah.
When do you
Uh,
find
in,
time?
in between going to the classic and taking care of my significant other and trying to, go out and whatnot, I come home every day, and by 7 o'clock, I'm sitting at the desk,
Okay.
and I try and do one little thing a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, okay, I want to get this chapter done by the end of this week. I want to have this cover done by the end of this week. I try and pace myself out. I don't try to get it done, because if you try and get it done like this,
Yeah.
it's just gonna be, it's not gonna work. So you need to kind of pace yourself. Give yourself plenty of time. Because that's the great thing about writing. It's such a and I don't want to say slow process, but it's tedious. It's tedious. It's tedious. You have to really care about what you're doing to get everything done. And I have a checklist. Believe me, I have a checklist of things.
Oh,
And whenever
right.
I start a project, I put together a checklist and I check them off one by one by one. And I'm pretty sure Jerome knows what I'm talking about. These are things that, I have to get them done. They have to be done, and they have to be done by a certain time. But I give myself plenty of room. I'm not trying. I want to do this as a hobby. I want to enjoy it. I don't want it to become,
Right.
oh my God, I got to get this done. Oh my God, they're gonna be, I don't want to function like that. Plus, I'm too easygoing.
It's important that you have a significant other that understands that you need that time.
Yes.
If you don't have someone in your life that understands, you need to close the door,
Yeah.
or you need to put your headphones on and
Yeah.
just
I
give
do
me a
have
minute,
headphones.
give me 2 hours and I'm all yours. But right now, I just need those 2 hours. That's wonderful. Because I thought the other day, he's got grown children, he's got grandbabies, he's got a social life, he works all day. When in the world do you find time? Now, you
I
like you're 7 to
Probably about 10
10?
o'clock.
Okay.
10 o'clock, 7, about 10. About 3 hours. I try to get about three. I would love to make it 4. And if it's something I'm really trying to get kind of like done by a certain time, I'll go till about 11 o'clock. But I try to do it, just like I say, steady every
But then
day.
that clock goes off in the morning when you got to be somewhere.
I've got to be up and out of here.
I love the fact that you're letting everybody know that it's a process,
Yes.
right? You have to be steady and you have
Yep.
to give it time.
Yep.
Anything you don't water will not grow.
No. That's it.
You
That's
got to
it.
give it the
From a
time,
mustard
right?
seed. From a mustard seed. You know?
Must.
That's right. That's right.
So tell me, I don't want you to give the book away because it's fabulous, everybody, but just give us just a little dose of double dose. And
Okay.
would you talk quickly about can you I know you want to push this one, but
Right.
he has 3 other novels that are amazing.
Okay. Yeah.
Or I didn't read the very first one, but
Okay.
talk about the Gypsy one, which I really enjoyed.
Okay.
And so just kind of give us some of your legacy.
Okay. Those novels, right now, I'm in the process of like re-editing, but the Gypsy one kind of came. I had already had the story kind of um, in a certain way, but then, like I say, I worked for a little carnival for like a couple of months, and I used some of what I saw there,
Yeah.
placed it in the book. So um, there's a scene where people are picketing the circus because they don't want animals
Right.
to be trained and made tricks of and whatnot. And I get that from that place because we didn't use animals because it was more of a carnival, but they didn't like us. They didn't want us. I was like protesters. Who protest little ponies? You know, because that's what we had. We had little ponies, but yeah, that story.
Good
It
story.
is. It's two young ladies, and let me grab it real quick, and I'll tell you
Janice
exactly.
Kearney said she read your Gypsy book. It was really good. It was really good. It was
Oh,
really
she did.
good.
Okay, good. Nice. Well, anyway, the Gypsy story is two women. One is works for the circus, and the other works for the animal control office that the circus sets up in. The circus sets up in the town of Fort Myers,
Yeah.
and the animal control officer works for Fort Myers, and she finds out that animal attacks are happening in her town, and those animal attacks are coming from that circus. And when she investigates, she finds out all this stuff, and she ends up getting the help of the young circus performer, and they kind of team up, and there's a little love triangle and whatnot. You know, I got to spice it up for you, and it's a pretty good story. My Angel loves that story the most.
It's a good story. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
good. It's pretty good. Pretty good. It's in my genre.
Absolutely. And the other two?
The other one is Dark Paradise of the Dead, and it is I always try and take two women and pit them and try to have two stories going on at the same time. Even with my my double doses. But in the novels, it's two full characters, and it's a whole 400 pages of, I don't want to say mayhem, but it's you
Well,
know,
that's a good word. That's a good word.
I'll give you Janelle. I'll give you the Dark Paradise of the Dead. Janelle Bonet's family escaped the island nation of Haiti for the freedom of the United States, and she promised herself after a childhood trauma that she would never return. Lemora Fuqua believed all her grandfather's crazy stories about her family being pirates and treasure, and the treasure that he says lays in the Haiti. After being introduced to after both women are introduced to mysterious figures that are linked to their families, both women find themselves trying to survive Dark Paradise with gang members, ruthless mercenaries, voodoo priests, zombies,
Zombies.
and which woman will not become a victim of paradise. So
Yeah.
there you
That's
go.
good. That's good. Good, good, good.
So I'm in the process of re-editing that one, trying to make it a little tighter, and a new cover. Oh, I can't. Ooh, you're gonna love this cover.
I think a second edition is not robbery because we learn so much, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that, if you can do better the second time around, why not? A lot of people don't like to do that, but I'm like, why not? Why
They
not
do that
make
in
it
music
better?
a lot. They do that in music a lot. They
They
used
do
to
that a
like,
lot. Yeah.
and if it didn't do good, and they put out a second single. Well, if that second single did good, they would turn around and put the first single back out again, which they did with. I believe they did that with um, 1999
Oh.
single. Yeah, his single was put out. 1999 came out first, and it really did not do very well. And they put out Little Red Corvette, and with the video, it exploded. And they put 1999 out again, and dang. The
Yeah,
rest is history.
it's a process. You don't know, because the same story you tell to one group
Right,
may not receive it, right? You
right.
take that same story to another group and they're like, oh my God, what a good story. And then the other group was like, oh, I can't believe she's still talking, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
sometimes it's good to just give it a second chance somewhere else. So, okay, tell us about Double Dose because, our time
Story,
runs so fast.
you can do that, you can repackage your story
Yeah.
and put them back out there. So once you have that product, you can do whatever you want. You know, you can put it out. You can you can take certain books, especially if you have a long book, and you can split it in half and say, you know what, I'm going to make this one part one and this one part two. You can do that, but you know.
Well, I like series books, of course I do, because that's how I write. But I like following an author, right? And so I like following a character. And so I mean, I just think there's no harm in doing that.
No, series are big.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
So
goodness.
so
Yeah.
okay, give us a little double dose now of your Mythos.
Okay. I tell you what. Let's see. This was my second volume. So most people don't know about this one, but so I'm gonna read you. The first story, which is called Gold Diggers, and it has Cola and Nikki, two exotic dancers with big dreams and cold hearts, attend their former pimp's funeral, only to find out even in death they still owe him.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the second story is called Soul Survival, and it follows the harrowing voyage of a group of Haitian refugees on a clandestine journey to freedom that exposes an evil which will consume them all, even the innocent.
So you think you're gonna write anything different? Or are you gonna stay in this genre? I mean, do you?
You
I'm
know,
just asking.
I have a I have a biblical story.
Okay.
It's kind of like a historical biblical story that I have, and I've already written. Angel's already read it. She loves
Okay.
it. And it's I don't want to give away too much, but let's just say it's the journey of a soldier who is the sole survivor after the Egyptians or after the Israelites cross the Red Sea.
Okay, now that takes serious research.
Oh, I got a story for you. I
Oh my
got,
goodness.
but it was a
Yeah.
dream. I had a dream. That was a dream. I
Oh,
actually wrote
right.
that from a dream. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. It was a
And
dream. It was so realistic. I jumped up and just wrote it all down. Well, not all of it, but
so are we
most.
going to see it at the F.R.E.S.H Book Festival?
No,
No.
no, not yet.
Jerome, you had a quick
That's my
question. Okay, I'm sorry. Ask your
okay.
quick question to William. You got it, or I can say it for you. Now you are the guru of Zoom. I can't believe you can. It's all right. I can show the chat. Hold on. He wants you to elaborate on publishing your book since you are self-published. Which method has provided the most profit?
Ooh, I would say the ebooks, um, online, and since everything is e this and e that, I get a lot of promotion that way. But really, I sell more physical books than I do the ebooks. Now I had that 2,000 downloads. That's something I was kind of like I worked for. But usually, most people, I've had a couple of downloads, but mostly people buy the physical. And
Right.
so, and plus, when you get ready to go to a festival, like we're going to be going to your festival very soon. That's a plug, people.
Thank you.
You have to buy a quantity of books because that's a great place to sell. Last year, I felt like I underperformed because the girl you had on last the Zoom thing, she was selling like hotcakes. Her stuff was going out. I mean, I was like, man, I only
Oh,
came
but
with
she
like
sells children's books now. So everybody who walks through wants to buy a book for their
right, and I
right.
bought one for my granddaughter.
Right.
Come on.
See? So and then and most people come in with a margin of what they're going to spend, right? And so I think I really had to make that mix a little bit different. You just can't come in and see children's books because, you know, we need to
But
mix it up a little
you
bit.
know what? I
So.
did have one girl come up. She goes, I'm looking for books with zombies in it. I said, oh wow, I got one. So hey.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna do better this coming year. So tell me what you would tell your 20-year-old self.
Buy Apple, buy Google, put your stock in Apple and Google, and stay home until you're 30.
No, I really wanted you to talk about your writing experience.
Okay.
Like, so now that you've gone down this journey, what would you tell?
I would tell my 20-something, I would say start early.
Yeah.
Start, or don't think about it so much. Do it. Don't procrastinate and dream about it. You know what I mean? Because we authors, we do a lot of thinking. We do a lot of thinking. We do more thinking than we do, sometimes, because I do a lot of research, just like you said, that biblical story.
Right.
Once I got with the dream part, I had to do the research. I had to find out, which path these people take, and, what was it like living back then. I have all kind of books on that stuff right now.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, they weren't wearing shoes. They weren't,
And people are trusting you to deliver a story. That's what I like about my dark urban mythos stories are tales taken from headlines, because the story about the pimp, there were actually a guy buried in a coffin shaped like a Cadillac, and that's what that happens in this story. That the girls, they ended up deciding they were going to try and get some money from that gravesite. So, and the other story about the Haitians, you always see it all the time on the news. They're always, there's 25 people in a boat, and the boat.
Oh, that just happened recently.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
When they find this boat and there's nobody on it, there's blood everywhere, and there's this little boy, and they want to know what happened, and then that's the story that comes out about what happened on this voyage. So
let's talk about, I have my feeling about guns and who should have them and who shouldn't have them, how they should be distributed. But for those of you who don't know, he has a story about a gun, one gun, that affects 10 people, 10 lives, 10 families.
10, 11, yeah.
10 families. One gun can affect 10 families in so many different ways and in different situations. Yep. So I love the way I'm sure you weren't really talking about, eliminating guns. I think you wanted people to think about what one gun can do.
Yeah.
Right? From, 2 women to homeless people, to children, to families, to professionals, and it was one gun.
Yes. And it travels around in one night, or one day.
What was the name of the story? I just remember the story. What was the name of it?
It's Safety Off.
Safety
because
off.
As they're passing this gun around, they find out that the safety on the gun is broken.
Right.
And then you get into the story about where this gun came from, even after it goes around and it messes up so many people's lives.
So many lives.
Find out why is it that this particular weapon is causing these things.
Right. Yeah. Everything has a cause and effect.
Right. The volume 3, I wanted to talk about houses. If you notice both stories, houses are the central characters in both of those stories, where you have one character who has to find something, a hidden treasure out of an old house, and the other one is where a veteran buys a new home, and the things that nobody tells him are going around in his neighborhood, his backyard. And so I wanted both of those to kind of like parallel each other and talk about home ownership and generational
Well,
wealth, which is what a home is, and how we abuse it, and how it's such an important part of our lives to try to get to home ownership. And I just felt like that was a little bit
yeah,
of a theme, and I wanted to put it in both stories. Plus, I wanted, like I said, I wanted to spice them up for you, and yeah, I think I did a pretty good job.
you
People,
did a great
I had
job.
a friend who, a truck driver friend of mine that read it. Wife, and she loved the first story.
I'm telling you. That just, the other one of my favorites is the money tree. And that's because I know they say money is not the root of money is the root of all evil.
Okay.
Is that the way it goes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
it also shows you how money can be the root of all evil. I mean,
That's right.
they really
Yeah.
just can change people.
Even
It
though
can,
she was doing, the little girl in the story is
yeah,
trying to do good, it doesn't quite turn out the way she
no,
wants it.
right.
Uh,
It's all
uh,
about money.
that's
Yeah.
that's the one people like the most.
Really?
Yeah, that one and the gun. The gun and that one, for some reason,
Is the gun on Kindle or can I download that? No.
yes. Oh yes, yes.
Okay.
And
Download the gun.
I added a little bit more to the gun story.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
There's some more enticement for you to go out.
Yeah, so it's yeah. Anyway, I love your writing. I enjoy reading it. Our time is just about up. I want you to tell us what's next for Mr. Filmore. What's next?
I have as soon as I get done with these two novels, re-editing, putting the new covers on them, then I have another story that I'd like to work on, and it's another thriller, so novel. So that's what I'll be working on. I don't want to give too many clues away, and I'm going to do that biblical one too. That's
Right.
as soon as I finish that one, and I'm only doing that one because I want to make sure that your genre, you've got to have a solid foundation, a solid base. My base is horror and supernatural street horror. So that's my base right now. And
Right.
once you get a little bit more of a foundation, then I can move on and maybe do a little biblical something, and people will follow from what I've already done and say, okay, he did pretty good in this. Maybe he'll
Right.
do just
Yeah.
so. I'm that's what I'm working on. This is a slow burn. Okay,
Absolutely.
this isn't like I want to have this done this year, and I want to have this done in 3 months. Wait, like I just saw, I don't know if it was you, but I saw something online where it's write a book in a weekend.
Oh no, that was not me.
Who
I've seen who would want to do that?
who would want to read something that somebody wrote and saying it's a novel now, and they wrote it in a weekend. Now, if you got, even with what's that, 24 hours, you still got to edit it. You still got to do
It's
this.
going to be a hot mess, is what it's going to be.
Right. So this is a slow burn. This is like this is me saying, hey, this is going to take a couple of years.
Right.
Oh, this isn't. There's no. Oh, only thing I want to have in 10 years is 10 books.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. If I can get a book done a year, I'll be very happy. Very happy.
And that's something to aspire to, I really want you to think about doing an anthology, because it really is, if you could find someone, I know Janice does one and several other people do one, but an anthology puts you in another category to write from. And you can only do it in 2000, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're
Like,
stuck. You got to do it in 2,000 words.
I like that.
It's got to hit the mark. It's got to make sense. And it's
Yeah.
got to, be beginning and ending.
Yeah.
And I think that that is such a good process for writers because we tend to just drag it on, right?
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
writing in an anthology gives you the succinctness to write in 2,000 words. Now, it took me forever. I had to take out stuff and put stuff in, but yeah, it really does. It really does. Janice does an anthology and a couple other people. So I'll turn you on to them because it's a good writing process, learning process.
Right. Yeah.
So listen, it's
Yeah.
8:48. I gotta wind this up. Tell us.
It also makes
Oh,
you
you're
write.
gonna do a workshop. Wait, he's gonna do a workshop at the book
Yeah.
festival.
I want to do one on the self-publishing. So
Yes.
I want everybody to know how to publish their own book.
Yes.
I want them to be able to. My next thing is audiobooks. I want you to be able to do your own audio. I want you to be able to do have your own paperbacks, your own hardcovers if you want to, your ebooks. I want you to have all of that. That way.
So we're gonna title it "The Nuts and Bolts of Publishing," self-publishing.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
no, you can call it whatever you want, but that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, self-publishing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So please, William, tell everyone where to reach you, how to get a copy of your book.
Okay. Well, you can go to you can go to wcfilmore.com and go on the site, and it'll take you over to Amazon, or you can go on Amazon and you can put in Filmore's Double Dose of Dark Urban Mythos, and it should pop right up.
It does pop right up. It does pop right up. Yeah. And
Great.
so we look forward to seeing you at. Go ahead.
Another thing, that's part of the process. All this stuff
Yeah.
work. When I was first on that publishing thing,
right,
people couldn't download the book. They couldn't download it, and I was trying to get, I'm out there marketing, and people going, "Man, I cannot down," or it took my money, and I didn't get the book. Yeah. And once I started doing it myself, it's gotten a whole lot better. It's gotten it's a lot of stuff now. Don't get me wrong. It is a lot. I'm carrying a big bag right now, but
yeah. But listen, even if you give the workshop and someone just gets a nut and a bolt, right? Yeah. It's more than what they had before they came into the room. Right. And that's why I'm so excited about you sharing your knowledge, because a lot of people like to keep stuff close. I have no idea why. Yeah. But yeah, I thank you very much for that, because there are people struggling to do what to do next. What's next? I got it. I'm ready, but I don't know what to do next. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm gonna make sure that I'm in that workshop, so I can see it. If
I could just get 2,000 people that downloaded that to actually pay for the book,
right?
I'd be great.
That's what we all dream of, But we listen, as melanated people, we are new in this industry.
Yes.
This is not something that we've really been delved into as a wide group of people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we are babies in this industry. We still need.
Yes, we are.
We still need people to write query letters who are melanated. We still need people to be agents. We still need people to have those contacts with the bigger organizations that are melanated. So we're babies in this industry, but I can feel us just coming into it and making it better for everybody, including ourselves, right? So
I will try and give you all the little nuts and bolts and the screws and the nails to put together your own books, guys, because you can do it. You can do it yourself. Yeah.
And so we ask each of our guests to leave us with a pearl of wisdom. So I'll ask you for that now.
Well, I don't know. And I was thinking about that today, and I just steady wins the race. That's
Yeah.
all I can say. It seems like it's like, oh my God, it's taking so long to get this done. Oh, I can't take it. And next thing you know, it's done because you kept on it every day. These are some of the tricks, Jerome is putting out there. So these are some of the things he talks about in his
All the
self-help.
time.
Yeah. And it's about putting little tasks, just little things in front of you and getting those things done, like a block at a time, a little block. A house doesn't just pop up.
No.
Okay. There's a lot of bricks that go into putting together a house. Okay.
You gotta have a
lot of
foundation
bricks.
first of all. Foundation is the story. The rest of
You're right.
Yeah.
Foundation, but it
Yeah.
takes a lot to get it up off the ground.
Yeah.
And if you also you need to, I would say this, treat it as if you're getting ready to go into business.
Mhm.
Okay. Do not treat it's great to have a hobby and say, hey, I wrote this book, I want you to read. But if you treat it a little bit more like business, you'll be surprised just how far you can take it.
Yeah. All right. It's not a hobby. It's a business.
No, it's a business.
Writing books
It is
is a business.
Yeah, once
Exactly.
you put it on Amazon and people
Right.
start paying for it,
Right.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, William. I'm sure we'll run into each other as we do all the time.
Yes, we
But I
will.
look forward to seeing you at the Fresh Book Festival. Thank you, everybody who joined us tonight. There were some people in the waiting room, William, that we did not let in because it just kind of disrupts the flow.
Yeah,
Please
that's all right.
apologize to them for me.
Okay.
And so, as always on Monday night, when the lights go out and the cell phone towers go down, all you have left is a flashlight and a good book. Thank you
All
very
right.
much, everybody. Good night.
All right. Good night.
Good
Happy
night.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you. Be safe.
All right. Good night.
Good night.